want to say welcome, everyone. This is Cindy Kabika, and I'm so thrilled that you are here joining us for the Soul View. And of course, also here is Lorelei Robbins. She is a spiritual astrologer, and we also have a soul midwife with us, and that is Shivani Ganel. And she is coming to us from Australia. So Shivani, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here, and the three of us are together.
I know.
Yay!
You have your internet today. Yay!
Yay! Exactly.
Yes, that's great.
See, we were supposed to spring into the new season for us to all be live together.
That's what it is.
Right?
We just had the equinox. We're going to be talking about that, the spring equinox, and Lorelei is going to fill us in. We're still in that energy, so you can still do some clearing around some stuff if you want to. And you can, and we've got somebody that has a question there. I want to make sure that our sound is working, that everything is working properly. So I'm going to go to the question. Can anybody click on that and just see what her question is?
I think we can. Yeah.
Okay, why would anyone want to go to Facebook when you all look so good and clear here? That's from Anne. Hello, Anne.
Okay, thank you, Anne. Thank you. That's great. Well, for those people who are already on Facebook and that is their usual, then this is great. That's where they want to hang out. Plus, we only have a limited amount of people that can actually come on Zoom. So for those people who cannot get on Zoom because too many people are here, then you can go to Facebook, and our page is facebook.com/energized living today, and that's where we'll be broadcasting as soon as Ferris figures out what is going on and can fix that for us. There are there are several things that we want to talk about today. And of course, this show is all about looking at what's going on in the world and looking at the soul perspective of what's going on, which means that it can change in a heartbeat. And with all of the talk about Facebook and Cambridge Analytica and what has happened, the concerns about our privacy and all of our information being hacked. Over how many people, Ferris, was it 50,000 people?
Yeah.
50,000 people, their information was hacked, and
Wow.
and it was used to manipulate people in this past election. And of course, it's not just done in elections, by the way. It's done in many different ways for many different companies. This just happens to be, the news of the day is that Donald Trump used it.
Right.
And the thing is, that doesn't mean it was illegal. They just hacked into our information. The Cambridge Analytica did. That's the part that is wrong. They took our information unbeknownst to us. And that's where the big concern is. Whether or not he used the company, I think everybody does, oppositional research. And I don't know that there's anything wrong with that. Just so for those of you who either want to think that it's somebody's fault, like he shouldn't have done this or whatever, or if you think, so what? It really is a so what thing at this point. He hasn't done anything wrong, or his team. He didn't do anything. His team didn't do anything wrong. What is wrong here is the fact that this company hacked our information and they used it unbeknownst to us to influence us. So that's where.
Boy, if that's not Scorpio energy, I don't know what is.
Really?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, again, not negating or minimizing what's happened, but that whole using something, manipulating somebody with it, it's on a much smaller scale in our own individual lives, but we're part of the collective. So as you're saying that, here now, Jupiter's retrograde in Scorpio, which means a lot of stuff is going to churn underneath the surface. So again, if we believe that all things work together for good on some level, this is another indication of an abuse of power. And don't then we all get to look at what we do with power? I mean, isn't that the point? I mean,
that is the point. So Ferris, are we on Facebook now?
No, we're not. I don't know what's happening, but if you're looking at my facial expressions, you can probably tell that something's wrong.
Okay. All right. Well, we can always post it later. And, if anybody is there, and just let them know for some reason.
I'll just have to put a post on there that we're unable to get on.
Yeah. And it very well could be what is going on today. They might have just kind of locked down the security for today and it's affecting people. I don't know. I don't know what it is. There could be, a lot of things. And we even got on early to check. So we're not sure. The news said it's 50 million. Yeah, 50 million people.
Not 50,000. Right.
No, I said 50,000. They said 50 million.
Well, did you say 1,000? I just heard the 50.
Yeah. It wasn't 50,000. It was 50 million
yes.
people. Excuse me. I misspoke.
Yeah, thank you, Sherry, for letting us know. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Huge number.
That's a huge number. And that is a concern to everybody. Wherever you are in the world, if you use Facebook, this affects you. So, again, I don't want to go in the blame game here. That's not what this show is about, is not blaming someone, a particular political person. That's not what we're doing here. What we do want to do is look at this company and say, you know what? We've got to be proactive in protecting our information because we didn't give them permission. And this is a good thing that they have been caught doing this, because you can't fix what you don't know is broken. So this takes acknowledgement. And remember, our internet and everything that's happened so rapidly. All this instant information, the information age was so rapid in its growth. We had no regulations. So we need to develop regulations. And this is just one of those things that is going to really start getting people paying attention to. We need regulations on what information is shared. And Ferris, as soon as he figures out what's going on, he'll talk a little bit about how to do that. So we'll bring him on in just a little bit. The other things that I wanted to talk about today is, our auras. I wanted to talk about auras, but I think that kind of, I didn't get the questions or the answers from people that I wanted to. Last week, I ended the show, or 2 weeks ago, we ended the show with talking about auras. And I wanted to know, when you look at Donald Trump, what do you see? If you see auras, what do you see? What color of auras? And I'm asking this because it is interesting. And as a Pisces, as Lorelei says, I'm chomping at the bit to tell people what I'm seeing, but I want to know what other people are seeing before I have that conversation. So if you see auras, please, please, please write to us, post on our Facebook page, post, on our YouTube channel, and tell us what you are seeing in the way of auras. What colors are you seeing around him and any of the leaders around the country? There are many leaders out there right now that are in the news, and Lorelai's going to talk about some of those people that are in the news in just a moment. And then the other thing that I want to talk about as well, of course, is the equinox. So Lorelei, why don't we just take just a moment and talk about some of the people that are in the news right now. Trump always seems to be in the news. So let's just go ahead and move to the prime minister.
Well, don't you want to talk about the cosmic weather first?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Sorry about that. Absolutely.
I have all the charts here. So, and again, anyway, so here we are in the spring equinox. The sun in the sky, which is where we all get to shine, is now in Aries, the initiating fire sign of Aries. Courage, bravery, self-reliance, being true to yourself, taking a stand for what's important to you. And the planet of communication, Mercury, is also in Aries. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. And then Venus, what we love, what we value, what brings us pleasure, also in Aries. So again, if there were ever a time to screw up your courage and take a step in the direction of what you most desire, any of us. So today well, or tomorrow, Mercury, the planet of communication, is going to go on one of his 3-week retrograde journeys. Again, to everything there's a season. Retrogrades are great if you allow yourself to realign. And that's kind of the first thing. Pay close attention to all the words. Because, the joyful part of my spirit, I make a game out of that. I can't wait to see what words are going to surface, because those words are important for you if you say them or hear them. So that's what a Mercury retrograde is. And from tomorrow until the 15th of April, it's a time to regroup. One of the ways I love to see Mercury retrograde is, think of your life as a plate, and things are on the plate of your life. Your work, your business, whatever that is, your relationships, your health, your car, your money, whatever it is, there's the plate of your life. The wisdom of Mercury in retrograde is, don't add anything to the plate of your life. Take things off. Look at the plate and go, wow, I'm spending a lot of time doing something. I don't like this. This doesn't bring me joy. I don't want to do this. I think we're going to see a lot of that in folks. I want this, I don't want that, because that's very Aries, and that's very much being true to self. So the beauty of Mercury retrograde, which I love, is your mind is not as conditioned. So it's like we're open and more receptive to information from different sources, and to hear it in a whole new way. That's what's so really, really cool. Now, when you hear the dumb things, that's what I call them, my car didn't start, the mail got lost, the computer crashed. Yeah, my belief has always been, and Cindy, you and I've talked about this so many times, that's the universe saying stop. That's the universe saying, hey, you're not going to regroup on your own. Well, then your computer's going to crash, so you can't do that thing that you thought you were going to do. And instead, you're going to take it to whatever, Geek Squad. And that person that you meet at Geek Squad is going to be a missing piece in whatever you're chewing on in your life. So that's the beauty of Mercury retrograde. And I love this. I learned this in graduate school. Flexibility is the hallmark of mental health. That is a good thing to remember anytime, but it's a really good thing to remember when Mercury's retrograde, because I promise you, your schedule will change. You'll have your plan for the day, and some days it'll unfold that way, but other days something may happen that takes you off what you thought you were going to do. So we always have a choice, right? We can go with it or not. So what I think is very interesting, Mercury, as I said, is in Aries, which is about having the courage to speak what we need to speak. So we can all draw from that now, especially people that have Gemini or Virgo energy. Mercury's their planet, but we can all draw from, what do I want to say? And folks may be surprised that they have the courage to even think something they've never thought, or say something they haven't said in a group situation or to a particular individual. Because if we believe, which I do, that all things work together for good, then a Mercury retrograde is, we all need to slow down. I mean, even though Mercury's in the fastest sign in the zodiac, so I would say to people in this moment, what comes to me as a divine download, really be aware of how you drive, because Mercury is a transportation planet also, and we got 3 planets in Aries, and Aries is cars, Aries is Mars. So, it could be easier for people to take out their stuff in their car, what we've commonly called road rage, but again, I think we should call it something different. But just to be aware of that, to be aware of something could be pent up in someone. God, I really want to say this. I really want to say it, but I'm so afraid. And then it comes out when they get behind the wheel. So again, it's a beautiful time to regroup, and it'll be interesting to see how our world leaders, work with this. Because again, here, everybody, and Trump, it's interesting, Cindy, talking about world leaders, because Gemini, as I just said, Mercury is the planet associated with the sign Gemini and the sign Virgo. Many people know this, some people don't. And it doesn't matter if you know it or remember it or not, but Donald Trump is a Gemini. So Mercury is his planet. And as I said this on our first show, I mean, the fact that he tweets as much as he does, appropriate, not appropriate, doesn't matter. The fact that he's a tweeter makes total sense, because Gemini is the disseminator of information, you know, is the communicator. So again, here's Mercury retrograde, going to retrograde. So I don't know what that's going to look like for him, or for people, you know, maybe standing up to him. I have no idea. But again, it's an opportunity for all of us to look at where we have cut someone off at the knees, where we have been not only just blunt in our communication, but where we may have been mean or cruel. Because Aries is the warrior. It's the first sign of the zodiac. So cruelty is an aspect of the warrior. And, you know, when we talk about shadow, right, Cindy? I mean, we talk about, you know, the two sides. So we all get to, I would say, be more conscious of the warrior in us, of the activist. I mean, Aries would be the sign of the activist. You know, I got to do this. I got to go here. I mean, Aries is about one thing and one thing only. And anybody with Aries energy really gets this. Go and do. That's it. Go, you know, anything else about an Aries person that you know, oh, they're so creative, they're so inspired. Yeah, that's an Aries with Pisces energy. But the Aries thing is to do and go. And so if Aries is curtailed, headaches. So again, it's a perfect time, I think, for people to really look at how they speak, how true they are to themselves, you know, and to then attract people of like mind. So those would be the things that I would talk about for right now, that I think if everybody has a sense of this, we might all, you know, be able to navigate this in a way that's productive for everybody.
I want to go to Shivani for just a second. And, you know, you talked about the rewords that really come to your mind, that really speak to you right now. What are the ones, Shivani, that come to you?
Oh.
Well, it was interesting. I had a process and got downloaded about something last night, and it was for me recommitment. I actually wanted to quit. And then I couldn't do it. And then this whole energy came, and I, you know, remembered, well, why did I start out doing it in the first place? And yes, it's hard. And yes, I'm not seeing the results I want to see. And it was this total recommitment. And the Aries energy, I'm going to do it. I'm going to push through this. And yeah, so that was my last night in Australia. So recommitment.
Oh, that's great. Well, you know what's so cool about that? Just one quick thing. Mars now, the planet of action, is in Capricorn. Oh. You're a Capricorn, and commitment is a Capricorn construct, if you will.
Interesting.
So isn't that fascinating? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, talk about feeling like you're ready to climb the mountain, you know, the beauty. And again, we can all draw from this, but people who have Capricorn energy can, like you, who are, that's where you shine. Nobody plans and organizes like Capricorn. I mean, energy, but we can all draw from that now. Take a step up the mountain, secure the footing, take another step up the mountain. So
that's it. Yeah. Instead of falling off the mountain.
You're recommitted to your mountain.
Now, I want to talk about that for just a moment, because Lorelei, I was talking to you earlier, and I told you that the last couple of days, my energy has been wonky. I'm usually pretty focused. You know how when you go through those days, when you pick up something, you take it to a room and then you set it down, and you knew you were going to do something with it and you can't remember why, or you walk in a room and you can't remember why, and you find yourself scattered all over the place. So that's the way that I've been. And I had these horrible cravings. I wanted sugary everything, and I don't eat sugar. And I just
been sugar crazy.
I have, and I'm not like that normally.
You've been eating
normally
my candy.
What's that?
You've been eating my candy.
I know I ate your candy. Ferris is he's a sugarholic, and big time. And I rarely eat much sugar. I don't really crave it, but I've been craving it, and I didn't know what it was. And then we came up on the equinox, and I thought, we had new new moon energy.
We're still in the new moon. We're still in the, we're just coming out of the new moon today. So really the equinox occurred during the new moon, which just amplifies the new beginning energy of the equinox every year. But the equinox doesn't always happen at a new moon. So that's cool.
And then I just had a birthday.
You
I just
had a
turned
birthday.
61. Yeah, on the 16th. So I just had a birthday, and I'm still in that birthday energy.
Yeah.
As I always put it to people, you know, you don't celebrate, or your parents didn't celebrate your birth just for one day. You know, they celebrated it for a while, meaning you can celebrate your birthday, the anniversary of your birth, for many days, which is what I do. And I still feel that energy. So all of that energy comes together for me, and it's just activated a sweet tooth. I don't know. So I have to recommit to my healthy diet. That's my reward. One of my
That's
rewards.
a great, actually, that is a really good word for the fact that Mars is in Capricorn. What do you commit to? And then the fact that Mercury is going to retrograde, what do you recommit to? You know, so I recommit to, I want to recommit to doing certain yoga poses, because I had my class today and it was so great. And I thought, you know what? I need to be doing certain poses every single day. Even if it's for 10 minutes, it doesn't matter. I need to be doing the bridge or whatever. But so that would be my recommitment. So yeah, we can ask anybody who's listening or watching, what are you going to recommit to during this time?
And in the chat box there, you know, and if you're watching this later on Facebook, then go ahead and, you know, put your comments below. What are you going to recommit to? And what are your rewords that really speak to you right now?
Yeah.
So, Shivani?
Yeah, the next word is rebalance. And yeah, and as you mentioned it before, Lorelei, I think we all need to slow down. And I notice, it's almost like everything is speeding up, and I have major issues with time management at the moment, which I normally don't have. Yeah, I'm pretty focused and structured, the Capricorn, and last 2 weeks, time management. What time management? Yeah, and things take longer, or I'm not doing things that what I'm supposed to do.
Oh, that all supposed to do Capricorn stuff.
Well,
I should be doing that.
I tell you what, I've never ever. I mean, I've forgiven myself, but I had a client, and she was so looking forward to her Akashic reading, and I had to get on the phone with her and very sheepishly tell her I didn't finish it. So I was supposed to do that. You know, I've never ever let a client down that way. And she was fine. I mean, she's been with me for months, but it was like, oh my God.
But see, you're redefining your own being authority. Somehow it feels like to me. I mean, you're like redefining what that means, because you're absolutely right.
Another reword,
redefining. Yeah, redefining. Yeah. You know, and I was just going to say before, let's pay attention to the words that we use tonight that just come up, and one just came up, redefining. And defining is a Capricorn thing, right? I'm defined by my job, or I'm defined by my relationship, or my money, or whatever. So again,
isn't that Aries too?
Capricorn is about what defines me. Aries is, again, the action and the doing behind it. But the actual definition of my status in life, that's very Capricorn. Mm-hmm. I'm married, I'm single, I'm divorced, you know, that could be one. I could be white, I could be black, you know, African American. It's all definition. So here's Mars in Capricorn. We all get to decide how we want to define. So I love what you said. Because, I mean, I know that would have been really hard for you, but somehow.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Like I said, I've never, ever, I can't remember ever.
Oh, wow.
And I just want to tell her, you know, that's what I said earlier. Yeah. You know, when I said I'd go to a room, I'd pick up something, take it to a room and say, okay, what was I going to do, with this? Why did
I'm not the only one.
What was I, you know, and everything has been scattered all day long. It's just been, you know, and this for the last few days. So Shivani, you're feeling what many of us are feeling. And I see a comment there. I can see that there's one, but I can't read it.
Okay, I can. Found myself, hello Jean, found myself recommitting to doing the work needed in my coaching studies after having slacked off for a couple of months.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, that, again, that's the beauty of Capricorn. It's like, if you want to accomplish something, if you want to achieve something, if you want to feel successful at something, which could be anything, that's the point. It doesn't have to be the big business thing. It can be that. I always love to say it can be, you know, I'm going to clean out the kitty litter now, or again, I'm going to make this phone call. I need to accomplish this, you know, because if we start with the small stuff and congratulate ourselves along the way, right, Shivani, like you would as a, did a good job, good girl, did a good job, you know, then we, you know, we'll each reach whatever our summit is. So I'm really, I don't think I've ever been so conscious. I have no Capricorn in my chart, but I'm really conscious of harnessing this energy now, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying feeling like more in charge, which is very Capricorn, and everybody can feel this now.
And I want to ask Ferris his rewords.
Oh.
Well, that wasn't one of them.
Riri? He's going to Riri.
For emphasis.
It just hit me that redefining has just kind of jumped up and smacked me in the head.
Oh, yeah.
I've been considering myself a retired photographer and just got a call. Yeah.
Retired.
Are you retired again?
Yeah. And just got a call from a client that I haven't heard from in a year.
Wow.
And just insisting that we do a photo shoot for him. So, but the word that's hitting me a lot is release.
Oh. Yeah.
That's a big one.
There's a lot of stuff lately, and it's mostly just little stuff that I've just needed to let go of.
Yeah.
That's a really good one, release.
And a lot of it's physical stuff in the back room that I'm having to let go of.
Oh yeah, he's downsizing too.
I'm releasing it to the curb.
Well, then take advantage of the Mercury retrograde to clean out. That's a fabulous time. Actually, that's a kind of a good time for people to be moving, because when you're moving, you're cleaning out, and that's a beautiful retrograde thing to do. So if you're cleaning out stuff, Ferris, boy, I would harness the next 3 weeks, you know, and that would be a beautiful, here's Mercury retrograde, Mars still in Capricorn, to say, you know what, I want to accomplish this in this next 3 weeks, which has to do with, I don't know, cleaning out the basement or rearrange, there's another one, you know, rearranging something. Or, I mean, again, it can be so fun and productive. But again, so many people want to blame when life's not working. Well, let's blame Mercury, or let's blame the moon. Well, that's not very responsible, is it? Which is another Capricorn word. Right, Shivani?
I love that. I love that. And, you know, and you're right. We blame things. This is why. And there can be reasons, but when we look beyond the reasons that things are happening, we're going, oh, this is not happening to me, but for me. And this is what I do. So my technology isn't working. So what is it? What else can I look at? If I'm not, Shivani, you just went through this when you had no internet 2 weeks ago, when we were getting ready to launch this show. And, you know, and so what did you do instead? You went out and you said, okay, so I'll go out and get a new camera and get a new microphone and really, you know, work on my studio.
And, you know, it was really brilliant what you did. Because I watched it today. You and Shivani, and then that was great, because that was like me and you, and then Shivani and you, and now the three of us. I mean, it really actually, who would have planned it that way? But it actually, to me, worked out beautifully with the three again, right?
Yeah. And then our token male energy.
Yes.
I told Cindy, y'all represent the divine feminine.
Yes, and you are the divine masculine.
I'm the body double for the divine masculine.
Well, Ferris, I was channeling you as my inner producer at the spring equinox when I did my live video because nobody could hear me. So I was doing it again. I said, where's my inner producer?
Yep. It was funny.
Okay,
people were
one
saying,
of the comments.
We can't hear you. I thought, Ferris, where are you? I can't address this now.
What was that, Shivani?
Elizabeth just wrote shadow ? So I would suggest, Elizabeth, can you write maybe a little bit more?
Oh, she might want to know.
Or in general, do you want us to talk about shadows?
And one of the things that I talked about in the email that I want to talk about is, drama. There's a lot of drama going on all around the world right now, not just here in the US, but everywhere. There's drama. And the drama.
Talk shadow, please. Sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
Email.
Let's
talk shadow. Okay. And one of our shadow sides, there are people out there, and this is something to really reevaluate during the retrograde. There are people that need drama in their lives, and that can be something that we crave. Oh my gosh, there's not enough going on in my life. I'm bored with everything that's going on, so I need to create some drama. And a lot of times that is a subconscious thing, and we start creating all this stuff, and we go, oh, why did everything just fall apart all of a sudden? Well, we called it to us because there's something that drama fills that isn't otherwise fulfilled. And that would be one of those shadow skills. And I do say it's a skill because one of the things that I told you the other day when we were talking, Lorelei and Shivani, I didn't get a chance to tell you this. But, for years, I was drama. And that's, my dad's doctor used to say to him, she was from Russia, and she would say, Jerry, no drama. And I loved it. I loved the way she said it. So now in my life, I say no drama, because for years I was addicted to drama. And the reason we become addicted to it is actually the stress hormones, epinephrine, norepinephrine, cortisol, dopamine. Dopamine is very addictive. That's why people smoke. That's why people exercise. And we get addicted to those drugs that our body produces, and it moves us towards wanting more of that. And that was me for a long time. And then I told Lorelei the other day, what I did was say, no more drama, no drama. Instead, if somebody wants drama, they're going to have to hire me. I'm going to be on a stage somewhere, and I will tell you a dramatic story. I'll do a dramatic scene, but you're going to have to pay me for it because I like calm. And that is understanding that I had this shadow, I had this need, and I addressed it and said, I can do something else with that and create, instead of drama in my life, create peace in my life and put drama where I best need it, which is on a stage or during, a speech, when you want people to go on that emotional journey with you so that they really feel what you've been through. That's something that is productive for everybody. So
I can totally relate to it. I remember 20 years ago, somebody I really love said, "You're just a drama queen." And I was mortally wounded at the time. And then I realized, oh my God, yeah. And then I also realized it was exciting in some ways to have that drama, right?
Yeah.
And then was the same, no, I'm over drama. I don't do drama anymore. And it feels so much better.
And that's why people like the reality shows or what's going on around the world right now. People are glued to it because it's drama, and we can't excuse ourselves from it. We can step back from it and say, I will listen to the events of what is going on around the world. I will hear it. I will process it in a removed way. and see it and not allow my emotions to hijack me, which is where the real drama happens, is inside the body. Because remember, it's a reaction, a chemical soup within your body that you are reacting to in this drama. So where are we astrologically when all of this is unfolding in this awareness of all of this drama that's coming?
Well, that's really interesting when we talked about this, because the collective destiny now, the North Node, without going into, it's not an astrology lesson, but everybody's opportunity now is the invitation to step into Leo energy, which is why, you know, if your heart's not in your life or what you're doing or who you're in relationship with, I mean, again, your heart needs to be your heart, but if your heart's not in it, do something else, go in a different direction. So that's certainly the plus of, because the North Node, this is what it's called, is in Leo. Well, Leo is the sign of drama. Donald Trump, coming back to Trump, who is a Gemini, as I said before, but he has what drives him, Mars, and his window to the world, his persona, or what we call the rising sign, or what I've always called the interview personality, is Leo. Well, is it any wonder that he's playful and childlike and childish and attention-seeking and arrogant? I mean, it all comes with the package, you know? Again, we have shadow of all the energies, and we have the, you know, the high side, if you will, but we got to have the blend. So it's not surprising that drama, you know, could feel over the top now, but by the same token, this energy is also the opportunity for all of us to really connect to what's in the heart. That's why I started my Playground for the Soul Circles last August, because I really wanted to harness the North Node in Leo, the eclipse, all of that, and going, you know what, if it's ever a time to step into joy, it's now. And even with what's going on, it's not, you know, again, I get schooled really quickly. Cindy, you're the expert politico in this trio. And then
I'm writing, Ferris is doing, you know, helping me with research. So I know more than I ever thought I would. And again, I do it from a removed perspective. But what's really interesting is, you know, how many people are living the drama of what's going on. And I mean, really processing it within their body. And here's a shadow thing that we do. Again, a shadow skill is something that we don't want to look at. We don't want to admit it to ourselves. We think of it as something negative or something bad that we have. It actually can be of service to us and something that we can look at. And when people right now, when they're buying into all the drama that's going on right now, which can be very much a shadow thing, the way that we look at it is, wow, I'm so emotionally invested into everything that's going on. What is it in my own life that I'm not looking at? Instead, I'm looking at this because I don't want to face something within my own life. See, and that's usually what we're doing, is like this diversion. You know, if I look at somebody else's drama, somebody else's stuff, then I don't have to face what I'm going through.
Yeah, that's a projection. It's so easy to do that. And we all do it. But boy, when we get conscious of it, it's so empowering.
Oh, it is. Sound familiar, Shivani?
Yeah, totally. And yeah, I so agree, because it's a way of putting everything out there and not really creating intimacy with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Intimacy into me.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
That's another opportunity.
And also the drama, you know, like I remember when I said before, okay, I recommitted, right? Mm-hmm. But honestly, for 2 weeks, my inner drama, the thoughts I had and how logical it was. And yeah, we're also creating the drama within us with the thoughts of what we're seeing out there.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Yeah. It's our thoughts.
And evidence, because whatever we believe is true. Yeah, there's really no right or wrong belief, because it will always be affirmed. And so, of course, with the drama, then we get the evidence. Well, yes, what I'm believing is true, right?
Mm-hmm. And we have another comment here, and I'm going to just lean into it so I can see. Love the angel picture behind Cindy. Makes me want to paint again. Yes. Isn't that beautiful? Eva Sullivan does these paintings. Yeah.
And your house burnt down. That would have been hard, and I'm so sorry. She said her house burned down in 2015 and she lost much of her art and supply. Yeah, that's, I think it's, as hard as it is, when it's, I think you're literally stopped in your tracks. Yeah, you lose your house.
Wow. And it's an opportunity for a new beginning.
Exactly.
And I say that from experience because we were in a lot of fires growing up. My mom, my aunt told her, and talk about the power of the mind, the power that the mind, or the chaos the mind can create. Something happened and there was a fire streak across Mom's baby book. And her sister told her that she was going to be plagued with fire throughout her life. And we were in 5 fires.
Wow.
5 fires. 2 of them, the houses completely burned to the ground. 2 of them.
Wow.
So, that's what I mean. Look at the mind can create for us when we see stuff like that. And instead of looking at everything that we lost, we had to get to a point where we said, this is a new opportunity. We're still here. We're still happy, healthy, and whole. We somehow made it out of these fires. So how can I use this as an opportunity to start anew?
Wow.
We can, okay, I remember a picture that I painted and I missed that picture, but you know what? I have a better one in me, and telling yourself that one more that says even more to speaking to who I am. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
absolutely.
That's how we can turn that around instead of it being a shadow in our lives and focusing, the hindsight of things, but focus forward.
Well, and another gift of Mercury retrograde is we really do get to rethink things because we're more open and more again, as I said before, the mind is not as conditioned. We really get to go, wow, look how I've been thinking about that. That's not really serving me, or that is serving me, whichever. But that's, again, the beauty. So it really just becomes a choice to say, I wonder how my schedule is going to change today. I wonder what I'm going to have an opportunity to think about differently. I wonder who from the past is going to cross my path so that I get to relearn something. There's another one about myself, in the interaction with them. I mean, so as I said, it can be as productive that, a period that's why as it can be for people that they go, oh my God. Well, again, it's what they believe, right? What you just said, Cindy, that was a belief. So if somebody believes, oh my God, my life's going to go to hell in a handbasket in the next 3 weeks. Well, guess what?
It will.
Yeah, it will. Right.
Yeah. That's the power of attraction. Yeah. So, we're back to what we were talking about the last time, power of attraction, our shadow skills. A good thing, sorry.
Yeah, so Anne basically says she had insurance and she was able to get a new home.
Her dream home.
Yeah.
See? Wow.
Yeah. There you go.
See, good things can come out of tough situations. And, I've experienced a lot of things in my life, and I look around now and by the way, I am an activist. If you see my Facebook page, I'm not one to shut up. I've said before, the last time, that I'm a warrior, and I've always been, and I will speak up for fairness. I will speak up for the people and things that really matter in life, like protecting our information, like these children that were, and this was very interesting to me that this happened. I reposted when the children went on the day walkout. Did you see that, Shivani? And I don't know if they did that around the world. I know they did in other countries too.
Oh, you mean in Africa that they got released, the 150? No, not that one.
This is where all the kids walked out of school in protest to the gun violence.
Right.
Oh my God, no! Didn't.
Yeah, that was around the world. You
Wow.
know, that this happened. It didn't just happen in the U.S. And so I reposted this because I love what these young people are doing. Oh my God, they're being so proactive in creating change. You know, whether you agree with them or not, at least honor the fact that they're doing something to create change. And so I posted that out there, and there were people that were actually saying, well, if you would have been nicer, if these kids wouldn't have been nicer, they wouldn't have gotten shot. So they were victim blaming. And see, I am so anti that, you know, victim blaming. That's like, that is the sentiment of every criminal in the jails that will say, well, if they didn't want to be shot, they shouldn't have got in my way. You know, it sounds just like that. So you're going to hear me speak out. I am an activist, and I will speak up, and I will also look for the fairness and the understanding of why would you say that. Go ahead, Lorelei.
No, I was just going to say to affirm that in you, what you just said. You used fairness twice. You have a Libra moon. You're right, and Libra is all about fairness. So when you say that, that very much is an expression of you. That's, you know, again, that's part of your wiring. So, I mean, I think that's a beautiful, it's like both and, you know, it's not about either or. You're an activist and you're a peacemaker.
I am, and I'm going to do it in the most peaceful way possible. And to looking at their side of the conversation, they said, you know, there were schools that had sit-ins.
Yeah.
And I think that's also beautiful. It's not an either or. Both are valid.
Right.
Both are valid. It doesn't have to, you choose the one that speaks to you, but don't shame the people that have been victimized. That's near and dear to my heart. And, you know, for those of you who know my story, you know, I was in an abusive marriage and very badly physically and mentally abused, but physically. And the cops, you know, they would come, and I had a broken jaw, broken nose, and they came and said, you're not going to make me take the guy to jail, are you? What'd you do to make him mad? You know, so I know what that feels like on my side. And we have to look at that and go, you know what? Don't blame the people that got shot. I'm going to stand up for that. I want to hear why you would say that. But I'm going to be an activist and speak up for the people that aren't present to speak up for themselves, because that's not a, you know, my mind can't even go there. I've been there, done that, and I'd love to know if anybody else on the line have experienced that. You know, Ferris, it looked like you wanted to say something about that.
I have met a few actually career criminals, and I was just recalling one burglar talking to me about his latest conviction, and he really couldn't understand it because the guy deserved it. He left his door unlocked.
Oh.
And he was serious. He really thought he believed that.
So here's the next question for everybody. When you're looking at living heart-centered, and you are an activist, and I am, and I will be, I will continue to be a warrior, but in trying to see the other person's side always, as you know, all of you know that we all try to do, maybe not initially, but we always find ourselves backing up and trying to look at all sides. So the question here is, what might be going through the mind of someone that's thinking that this is okay? You know, placing blame on somebody who's been victimized.
Where do they get that from?
Yeah, where might that come from? And anything that anyone has to offer that's listening, please.
Well, I think what happened, I mean, what comes to me just
Yeah.
off the top of my head, if I'm understanding you correctly, I think what happens is the victim in that person is triggered. And so it's easier to blame the person who's victimized than to feel one's own victim. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
In other words, if someone's been victimized and if someone's blaming that, then that person is not in touch with where they have felt victimized in their life. And so let me take it off me and not be responsible for it. And let me blame, or let me, that person, whatever, created it, deserved it. Who knows, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what occurs to me in this moment. I mean, I because again, when we're triggered, and you said this in your conversation, Shivani, with Cindy, that it's like, if you spot it, you got it. It's the degree of triggered that we are. That's how much we know how much of it belongs to us. If we're so triggered that we're like, boy, we really get to look at that. If we're just kind of mildly, okay, I'm informed by it, it's not really triggering me, well, then it's probably not ours.
Yeah.
Whatever's going on with that person.
Yeah.
And it was a big trigger for me because I experienced it. I experienced it with myself. I experienced it with my grandchildren, when they were hurt by someone. So, I have seen it. And Shivani, have you experienced it or seen that?
Look, I am lucky. I have not experienced it myself.
And it can be in different degrees.
Mm.
I hit your car.
Yeah, look, I remember. I mean, not being blamed, but not getting the help I wanted, or making it difficult for me to get help. Because I remember, that's years and years back. Here I was working in the food industry, and I found myself literally in the cool room, pinned on towards the wall, against the wall, by my boss, trying to kiss me.
Oh, yeah.
And I was in my 30s, and I was just incensed, and I just pushed him off, and I went straight to the authority, and they went, well, yeah, you can complain, but it will take 2 years, with the anti-discrimination board, and, go to the whole thing. And I didn't do it, and I lost my job.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So okay, I wasn't a victim as such, and what was good in that way, I felt vindicated. The wife also worked with us, and I remember I spent 45 minutes with her going, look, she didn't want to know what her husband was doing, and then she admitted that this happened more than once with other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't get, I could have moved forward, but back then 2 years and drama. I didn't want drama.
Mm-hmm. But
there was nothing set up.
Blame yourself.
At least what?
No, I didn't blame myself. No, yeah. I was incensed.
At least you followed through with it in some way, and good for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really just shows that abuse of power is woven into the fabric of our lives. Mm-hmm. In ways that we would minimize, right? I just tried to, wait a minute. That's as much an abuse of power as something, again, and so all I'm saying is we all are getting an opportunity to look at all of this now, where, yes, whatever's happening there, but taking it inside and going, where have I been manipulative? Where have I coerced? Where have I misused, abused power in my life? And, the more of us that would at least be willing to into me see, right? That shifts things on the outer, because, what I know more than I've ever known ever in my life now is it's an inside job. My experience of my life is what's happening in here is how I'm going to experience my life out there. And that's for all of us. That's really the way it works. So, when we're in any kind of blame about anyone, it's not going to move our lives forward, most likely.
And also, I'd like to add that we are perpetrators and victims.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Thank you.
It's so much easier to go, I'm the victim, and we never ever look at our perpetrator side.
Totally.
Whether that's this lifetime or another lifetime, like we are capable to do anything. Yeah, like I did very deep work in the 80s with breath work, and yes, I can be not this lifetime, but we all have the murderer and the mass murder. Like we have every energy within us.
Totally.
All of the archetypes.
Yeah.
All of the archetypes that Carolyn Mace talks about.
Yeah.
In her books. And
so let's talk about the prostitute.
Yeah. What timing?
As long as we're talking about victim and perpetrator, let's.
Yeah. And all of it. We have this. When we find ourselves judging someone else, it is important to look at ourselves and go, where do I find that in me? Like I said, the drama that we're seeing all over the place, and if we're being drawn into it, what in me needs this drama? And the second question to that is, what am I not looking at because I'm so involved in somebody else's drama? What is it keeping me from looking at within my own life? Isn't that a big question?
Well, let me manage it in that person's life. The very thing that I'm not managing in my own life, let me manage it over there.
Well said. Well said.
Okay.
I
have a question for all of y'all. And you see, there is a time when all of y'all is correct. Most people say all y'all and it's not correct. Anyway.
Isn't all y'all redundant?
I love that word.
But I'm being emphatic with it.
It's charming, but.
Okay, what was your question, Ferris?
It seems to me, it feels like globally, we're becoming to a new awareness. Am I reading that wrong?
Totally.
It seems to me that it's coming up from the young people.
Absolutely.
Which is apparently the way that stuff usually works.
I'm going to start to study the generation of the kids. I say kids because my kids are that are born in the 80s. Mm-hmm. That generation I am in awe of as I'm watching different folks born in the 80s, and I haven't really studied that decade. So anyway, I totally agree with you. I'm in awe.
Yeah, that would be the millennials, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Millennials are really interesting because they're bringing back the values that our grandparents and great-grandparents had. They're looking at those values as core values that we used to have for family, and they're actually going to be the one that will reactivate that because we've gotten so far from it. Reactivate. Yes.
Another one.
Reactivating, what they saw, and they look at that and go, what happened to honor? What happened to, you start a job and you're dedicated to that company and staying with that company to its end, till the job is done. I mean, what is wrong with sticking in a relationship even when it gets difficult? And that's what I am hearing and have read on the millennials, that is going to be their ultimate role. And looking at even our politics now and political figures around the world and going, okay, what happened? This manifestation of all of these people's shortcomings, so to speak, that we're seeing, this manifestation of these shortcomings now are evidence of how far away from that era that we've become. Mm. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and we'll be talking about this on another show, but like William and Kate and Meghan and Harry, all born in the 80s.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and talk about that now? See, I said the right time will come up for you to talk about them.
And we'll be talking more about it, but I'll tell you the place that excites me, and I was a big Suits follower, the show Suits that Meghan Markle was on. She's a Leo, right? Well, I mean, they're talking about how no one's, I saw it in People today because I was in the grocery line, and it was like 3 people in front of me. And I thought, oh, I'll take that time to read what they're saying about Meghan Markle in People. But she's, stepping into that role very, very quickly, being schooled how to be, quote, royal. Well, she's a Leo, but this is what's so interesting. She has Cancer energy. There's a very warm, nurturing. Her role on Suits is very much one of a nurturer, as well as being very strong in her Leo energy. But Princess Diana was a Cancer. And I believe that for both William and Harry, that Meghan reminds him of his mother. Now, again, he was little, but again, the energy of Cancer, because she's very nurturing. She's very much about global stuff, projects and things. She's not just she acts, but she's very connected. And then Kate is a Capricorn with a moon in Cancer. So both of these men, these young men, I believe, have attracted women that have qualities of their mother. How cool is that?
Mm-hmm.
How cool is that? Harry's a Virgo. She's got Venus. Meghan does Venus, what she loves in Virgo. So that's a beautiful energy. And the same with Kate. And we'll talk more about it. But Kate and William also, beautiful, beautiful connection astrologically.
Mm. But that's for the next show, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
because I had said to Cindy, I was so excited about that. We thought, this might not be for this show. It should. But again, we're talking about this generation, right, of the 80s.
Right.
All 4 of them are born in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. So, this is an opportunity, everyone, to look at ourselves. And when we find ourselves being drawn into everything, like I almost felt this sense of panic. Yesterday, there was another shooting. And the young man that shot the girl, and I haven't found out, it was in Maryland, and I haven't found out all the details yet, but the young man, I felt for him. I felt this strong sense of this was a young man that was temporarily lost, and I felt the pain, and I felt the pain of her family. And these are 2, they were good kids. He snapped. But he's not a bad kid. It was a different energy completely than the energy that I felt after the shooting in Florida, or even the energy of the poisoning in the UK of the 2, ex-agents that were poisoned recently. And I always feel into that energy and say, okay, what is going on and what am I feeling? And I felt this real sadness. And so, for all of us who are feeling that, if you're an empath, and I know a lot of you that I see here are empaths, and you pick up on these things, we have to allow ourselves to process whatever is activating us, whatever is causing this, and then send that energy back to them. Because that wasn't mine. That was their families feeling it. And I was picking all of that up and saying, Ferris, he wasn't a bad kid. He snapped because, and I don't know why. I don't know what the story was. And I said there was some kind of relationship between the 2. If anybody knows, you can let us know. And that is, something that we can each process through and know that we can send that back as saying, is that mine, or does that belong to someone else? And send it back to them using the information to the higher good. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Ferris brought up Facebook privacy again, and we'll get back to that in just a moment, Ferris. Are either one of you, are you empaths?
Oh, I am, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's why I don't stay tuned into the news. I can't. I never get out of bed. I mean, on some level, it's like I take it on. So the decision I've made is to live the best life I can live in the way I live it, to create peace inside myself and wherever that emanates, and to be aware of what's going on in the world. But I get overwhelmed, very honestly.
And Shivani?
Definitely an empath. I had to learn not to get overwhelmed. I remember I was in an Indian ashram in the 90s when the first war happened, and the Swami I was with, he basically forbid me to watch the news. I was so distraught. Yeah, that was, what was it, Iraq, right when America attacked in the early 90s. Can't remember, but I just couldn't stop crying. And I had to learn how to deal with my sensitivity and I can watch it now, but I need to be removed, as Cindy says. There's now, like I have basically one foot grounded and one foot in the heavens, and that helps me to see the whole picture. Otherwise, I would get totally overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. One thing I want to say here, and we can further this conversation, in what you're saying, is be the casual observer of what you're seeing in the world. And being a casual observer just means, wow, isn't that interesting that that's happening? And here's another thing that I'll let you all chew on, and then we're going to end this. Donald Trump is an empath.
Oh, totally. I totally get that.
Yeah, that's why he responds so well to what the audience are feeling. Mm. And that does play into the auras. And we're going to talk about that next time. I want to tell
I'm going to be looking for auras.
What's that?
I'm going to start. Well, Cindy, before we wrap, just for me and for Shivani and anyone who doesn't know how to do that, just tell us how to start being aware. Like, what's the steps anybody can take to be more aware of aura, like you were telling me earlier today.
Right. Anyone can see an aura. Aura has nothing, you don't have to be psychic. You don't have to have any special skills. It's something that everyone has the ability to do. It's just an awareness. You become aware that everybody's emanating energy. We're energy beings. And from that energy, just like the mood rings. Remember the mood rings used to show you what your mood is, and it would flash a certain color? Well, that's what our aura does, and it expresses our mood or our general way of being in the world. And to see someone else's aura, you just you unfocus your eyes, and you it's like the pictures, and I can't remember the name of the pictures.
Those pictures. Yeah, I don't know what they call
them. There's image within. What is it?
Yeah.
Kirlian photography.
Right.
No.
Once you had to focus your eyes.
The pictures within a picture, and you see it right, Shivani. Yeah. There's a bunch of lines that you see, and then you unfocus your eye.
Oh my God!
It just kind of go blurry, and all of a sudden this picture pops out. Well, you don't focus. You don't try and look at, the auras. You just look at somebody and unfocus your eyes, and just. Where I like to focus my attention is actually right here on, on the thymus gland.
Oh, on them, you mean?
Yeah, on the other person, I focus on the thymus, and I just unfocus my eyes, but look towards the thymus, and then you will be able to see their color, because there can be different colors, throughout. They might be feeling something in their root chakra that will change the color of their aura that they're feeling differently when it comes to the crown. So, unfocus your eyes and practice that, everyone, and just look at people. Look at the thymus. This is where I like to look, is the thymus, and then I can see the whole of the individual and the colors, and I'll just start mapping the colors, and I'll do automatic writing. I'll just kind of automatically write what I'm seeing, and then the feeling I get when I'm seeing that color. And that's what happened to me, and was so fascinating with what I witnessed in seeing Donald Trump in different things. And then I started doing the same thing with Angela Merkel, and she holds her energy very close. She holds her aura very close. but when she was talking about things that came into her country, like this attempted assassination through poisoning, her aura got huge. Her love for her country.
Yeah.
So big. Did you see that? Yeah. And
I
you
didn't
could
see
feel
the
it.
actual speech, but yeah, I do. Whenever I see her, I know she's quite controlled, but huge heart.
Huge.
Yeah.
And you could really see that. So most people, even if they can't see it, they can feel the auras.
Yeah, I
More
can feel
people
it.
it than see it, and it's just a matter of us training ourselves to see it. And then you just kind of get used to it. I see it on everybody, but I get really used to seeing that. And only when it becomes important, like I see a real shift in color, then I make myself really pay attention. Isn't that interesting? And I wonder what's going on. So we will talk more about that. And what other questions or statements over here do we have, you guys? Okay, here, I'm going to try and look. Ferris, do you know how to disable or unsubscribe from Facebook Messenger? Okay, this is Anne talking about this. Friend was hacked. Don't click on anything that you don't know what it is when it comes to Messenger. That's where most people got their information hacked, by the way.
Wow.
So,
for Messenger, okay.
I'm having technical problems here, y'all.
yeah, I see the cat tail. I have a kitty at my feet. I have Nickel, but what Ferris is going to do, everyone, is there is a way to protect yourself there. There's some things that you can disable, and he's going to do an explainer video, and we will post it on our Energized Living Today page. Okay, so
I'll send out an email.
You'll send out an email, okay, with the link, and he will walk you through what you can do to protect yourself. Believe me, things are going to be changing very rapidly. Again, we haven't needed this before.
Right.
Now we need it, and now people are speaking out, and this is just one of the steps that we keep talking about. We're going through this big change, this metamorphosis. This is one of the things that it's evident. It's evidence of the change we're going through. Right, Lorelei?
Absolutely. Totally.
Any thoughts for the next couple of weeks that you want to leave everyone
Well,
with?
again, what I just want to leave everyone with is just flexibility is the hallmark of mental health. Like, just know that however your day unfolds, whether it's according to plan or not, that you're being guided, and just be open, just be open to information that's going to come from places that you might not have thought, conversations that you're going to find yourself having where you go, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that to him or her or myself, So again, it's all choice. It's all how we go into it. So the whole Mercury retrograde, all this Aries energy. In fact, I have my mug here for all of us that says, Thoreau's quote, "Go confidently in the direction of your dreams, live the life you've dared to imagine." That's an Aries quote.
And my journey begins today.
There you go. Perfectly Aries. It's so Aries. And on that note,
well, we love Big Daddy.
I love it. Okay, Shivani, where's yours?
Yeah,
I know I haven't got one because
Okay.
it's been
You
so
will
early.
next time.
I'm hanging out for a cuppa. So,
All right, everyone.
I just briefly want to add, so for those of you who might become aware of your shadow that you haven't become aware of before, be gentle with yourself, be loving with yourself. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. Yeah, and because quite often when we see something about ourselves we don't like, there's a tendency to beat ourselves up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the first thing is you're a divine being, but it's come up for healing.
And for us to look at it in a new way, which is healing,
Yeah.
going, wow, how could I use that to my benefit?
Yeah.
You know, not to
Great
manipulate
Aries
others.
That's
but
a great Aries statement that you just made. How can I use that to my benefit? And that's not selfish, because if I'm true to me, then I'm going to be true to all of you. And that's for all of you.
mhm,
Yeah.
beautiful. So everybody, just put your comments, write to us at support@energizedlivingtoday.com. And I believe that Ferris is going to put a link below. He's our technical guy. So go ahead and write to us. We want to know, you know, what you've been seeing, any of the leaders around the world. I know that we have people that are going to be watching internationally. Talk about whatever leader it is in your country, whoever you want. Nelson Mandela, he actually, great stuff from him I've seen recently. What do you see with him? Anyone. If you see someone's aura, write it down. And then I especially want to know what you see when you see Donald Trump, because it is fascinating and I can't wait to share. But I want to know what you're seeing too. So please do this so that I can get this out my chest.
You're being so overly Libra. I want to know what you see.
Yeah. Is that what that is?
Yeah, I want to know what you see before I tell you what I see.
Yeah.
So y'all show her yours so she can show you hers.
So share, everyone. This is not just about us. It's about all of you. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. And again, this is about just having a conversation, you know, and we want you to be part of this conversation. You can see we're free and easy. We're not going to have anything set in stone. If there's something else that comes up that we need to talk about, that's what we're going to be talking about, because we really want to stay current with the times. So the more people that we get on board with what we're doing, we can change the way that people are perceiving the world right now. And our goal is to move people away from fear and into understanding.
And love.
And love. Always love.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I love you all.
Have a wonderful 2 weeks.
And there's another statement there if anybody wants to try and get that. Yeah.
Oh, Sydney, to all panelists, what'd she say?
Relocate, redesign, redivine.
Good job, Sydney.
Excellent.
Redefine. Fantastic.
Thank
Well,
you.
Now
rewords.
the Facebook page, put all your rewords there.
Yeah.
I think
Good idea.
yeah. Okay. Well, much love, everybody. And until next time, namaste.
Any blessings.
Lucky stars.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.